Taylor Bisciotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Falcons are planning to use their franchise tag on tight end Kyle Pitts, according to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. The move would keep Pitts in Atlanta on a one-year, fully guaranteed deal worth roughly $15 million. Meantime, Cowboys executive vice president and co-owner Stephen Jones, speaking at the NFL Scouting Combine, says the team is leaning toward using the franchise tag on wide receiver George Pickens. Pickens, who is set to become a free agent March 11th, had his best season statistically with the Cowboys in 2025, with nearly 1,500 yards receiving and 9 touchdowns. The 2026 NFL Combine gets underway this week in Indianapolis. 3 of the top prospects, including Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love, along with edge rusher Arvell Reese and linebacker Sonny Styles from Ohio State, will all participate in drills, according to NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily.
Welcome in, everybody. Glad to be here with you. It's Sports Daily. It's Jacob Albrecht. It's Paul Savage in for TJ on this Tuesday morning, following a big Monday, late Monday night of basketball for KU as they get the win over Houston, and we will dig in to that win throughout the show today. We'll give you our thoughts on it and everything going in. We also have voice of the K-State Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, joining the show. Paul, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, young man. How you doing? You doing okay? By the way, it's so good to see Max. I'll tell you what, you walk into this studio, and there's that big smiling face of Max. And I'll tell you what, I appreciate the guy. He keeps this show running, doesn't he?
Max Power in. He's got your KFH hotline at 869-1240. We can also take your comments via our video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X. You can also watch us, of course, on 12 News Connected. You can leave us voice messages through the Odyssey app. All different ways to get in touch with the show, get in touch with the program. We'll be taking your commentary. What do you think, KU fans, after the win over Houston last night, 69-56? We'll dig into that. We've got lots to come. We'll dig into several different things that have been floating out there, get Paul's take on a few of them. It is Sports Daily. We're glad to be here with you. It's all What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, now featuring the seasonal release English Mild, easy to drink at only 3.4 ABV, but full of flavor to warm you up through the last of winter. English Mild available at all 3 WBC locations, East, West, Historic Delano, Wichita Brewing Company, pizza and beer made here. Paul, did you make it all the way to the closing buzzer last night?
I did indeed. I did indeed, and it was pretty much decided, midway through the second half. But it was fun to watch. I enjoyed it. Golly, that first half, what a grinder. I mean, you're talking about two teams that were just, a lot of people are going to say, God, they just didn't play good. No. I'm not sure that that's the case. I mean, when you look at these two teams, Houston's going to win a national championship if they get that far on defense. And I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
After all, a Calvin Sampson team. If I say, give me your first thought of Calvin Sampson as a basketball coach, I know you would say, because you understand this stuff, he plays defense. That's where it starts. That's where it ends. And Bill
you had two defensive-minded coaches with two very talented defensive teams.
That's right.
Play that game out that way.
Yeah.
you get a 31-27 first half.
Yeah.
And it's, you just got two teams that are locked in. It's the strength of both teams.
Right. That's what they believe in. But here's the one thing that I tried to get across is I watched some of that Cincinnati KU game. This is not the same what's going on? Because to me, it's not the same University of Kansas basketball team that was on the court last night. Maybe, and I don't know. I guess you can have a plethora of different reasons why someone might say that, well, that's the case. But, for me, they don't look like the same basketball team. So why this evening? Why this particular game? I know it's the number 4 team in America. I know it's a team that at least up to last night, it was talking about, even though they lost on that big, 1-4 play down on the weekend, that they would still be a number 1 seed. I'm not so sure that you're looking
Houston,
at.
you mean?
Yeah,
they got to win some more games. Yeah,
they got to win. You're right. You're right.
First time you saw it all over the broadcast. First time they've lost 3 in a row since 2017. Right. That's remarkable.
Right. So it's going to be interesting. But I mean, it was really, those were 2 really good basketball teams. And but I'm frustrated to a certain extent with the University of Kansas and how they can play so bad. If you saw, and you probably did, you probably at least saw some highlights of KU Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
KU did not play good basketball. I mean, I'm not even sure I can give you
Cincinnati played really well on Saturday.
Well. That's
Saturday got away from KU because Cincinnati hit a bunch of threes. And KU's not equipped to do that. And so they didn't play particularly well on Saturday. Bill Self, thought the energy was low. Some of the players thought maybe they were guilty of looking ahead to Houston.
Right.
I don't think it's a criminal tragedy to lose at home. It is your worst home loss. Like I get it. But this is the year where that doesn't surprise me all that much. KU has not had all its horses for a long time. They've had to navigate Darren Peterson's availability issues, but I think you begin to see what they're going to have to work through. I said this yesterday, Paul. I am not, for whatever reason, and this was a big win in the Big 12 race for KU. Huge win in the Big 12 race for KU. But the conference race hasn't quite registered for me because we're still so locked into what does KU need to do to be KU's best version of itself. And right now we're hoping that we get to the point where, okay, is Darren Peterson going to be able to, play consistent minutes enough for this team to really mesh the way that it needs to? I thought last night for him was a role that could serve them well. He played 30 minutes in the game. And even more than that, he played a lot of minutes where they were playing their best defensively. At the end of the day, people keep, pointing out it, and it's not even untrue. A lot of times KU looks like they play better as a unit when he's not on the floor. And I don't totally disagree with that.
I don't either.
But it's not, at the end of the day, the best version of KU is going to have one of the best players in the world on the floor. And if we're looking at it and it's either Darren Peterson out there, Jamari McDowell, or Omarco Jackson, because that's essentially what it is, then you're going to take Darren Peterson. We've seen in flashes that raw ability for him to score. The thing that KU needs more than anything is somebody who can just fill it up, even if it's just him as a shooter.
Oh, I got you.
And last night he took his shots. He didn't hit a bunch of them. That's okay, right? You still want him to take them because you're still trying to see this. And I thought at the end of the game, like the last, let's call it, 5 minutes, the way that they were playing, because, Houston inevitably made its little bit of a run in the second half there toward the end. They were too far down. It wasn't going to make a difference, but they did start to climb back into it. You started to see at the end, though, when it was, okay, here's how we're going to finish this game. Melvin Council sort of took control. Darren Peterson was there. He was playing his role well in those moments. So it tells me that Okay, they have end of game down with Darren Peterson. Like everybody knew exactly what they were doing at the end of that game. And it didn't seem disjointed. It didn't seem anything else. The offense is going to have to I don't know how many people stayed up to the conversation that Bill Self had on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt and everything else. And it's the stuff that I think a lot of us can see. And it got to the point where, and Scott Van Pelt's very good at what he does for a reason. He's like, do you have enough time to hit your ceiling? Which is what we all want to know, right? Like, is there enough time left? If let's just say that Peterson could put the cramps behind him. I know that's a huge hypothetical still, but let's just say it could happen. He could play 25 to 30 minutes a game the rest of the way. Is that enough time for Kansas to find it? I think that's a big question and one that we can discuss throughout the show here today. Can they get to their ceiling now with just about a week and a half left of the regular season going into the conference tournament? And that's where, like, yeah, the win is huge in the Big 12 race. That is, like, for me this year, it's all about can Bill Self work his magic now in this amount of time if he can get consistent minutes from Darren Peterson, because he's worked his magic in a lot of other areas on this team. They're incredible defensively. Every single player out there has gotten better, every one of them. And I think that's why, and he said it, that's why he's been so animated on the sidelines. I think he's so genuinely proud of this group. It's fantastic to see them play that way when they do. We'll have a lot more on that game last night, your calls and commentary on it. But up next, we're going to talk a little K-State because it's our weekly visit with Wyatt Thompson.
This is Sports Radio KFH.
I chose my lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83-1001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people. We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Is Sports Daily on KFH. And now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on KFH.
And welcome back in, everybody. Thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up this morning. We are joined now by Wyatt Thompson, voice of the K-State Wildcats. Wyatt, Jacob Albrock, Paul Savage in for TJ this morning. Glad to have you with us. Before we get to the Cats, Wyatt, I think you're as big a Big 12 fan as the rest of us. When you see Big Monday last night, you see KU, the rival school down there. They've had a pretty unique path this year, I would say. You've seen a lot of the best teams in the country, period. Do you think they've got time? If they can keep Peterson on the floor to get where they need to be to make any kind of run, are they in that category, do you think, from what you've seen this year?
Absolutely. And I think the answer is pretty, I guess, easy to say why. One, you have a really, really fine coach. Two, you have a team that is very, very rock solid defensively. You have protection at the rim. You have a superstar type player. If he's healthy, there's the variable that you don't know what you're going to get minutes wise moving forward. And that's what everybody is going to be talking about in the next, whatever, 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it might be. But I always look at it like this. I've learned this over the years. What are they at optimum level? If you go look and see who they've beaten Arizona, and they've beaten, 5 or 6 really, really, really good teams. So when they're right, they can play with anybody and beat anybody.
Well, you know why it's really interesting what's going on as we get down to the end of the regular season and you look at the Big 12, a lot of teams are a lot of the major conferences are looking at getting anywhere from 5 to 7 teams. Right now, the Big 12 is looking at getting 6 teams, and I think it's a sign of pride of this conference that you get 6 teams and 7 teams, maybe with Central Florida, maybe 7 teams. I think that's possible if they stand out in the conference tournament and play well, and we'll see what happens as they wind up the season. But when you look at overall, if you're a Big 12 fan, you had to bust your buttons last weekend when you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2 of the teams that are playing in 1, 2, 3, and 4 are both Big 12 teams, because you've had 1, 2, 3, and 4 play on a weekend. I think I caught that on the broadcast once. or twice out of the last, 30 years. That just doesn't happen. And yet there's two Big 12. Boy, I'll tell you what a showcase for the Big 12 and how good they are.
Well, the only thing that I would say that's concerning at the moment is that they need to, moving forward, stay away from injuries. We've already seen, a couple of teams have somebody go down, and that's really going to hurt.
Yeah.
I'm very anxious to see what the committee does with Texas Tech and BYU based on JT Toppin, who is a spectacular player, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Year. And then also at BYU with Richie Saunders. He may not be AJ DeBonsa, but he's probably their next best player. He's their glue guy. It's difficult to lose people like that. I don't know necessarily the extent of the injury to Koa Pete at Arizona, but the fact that they beat Houston at Houston without Pete and Aristode tells me that they're good enough to beat a lot of teams on a given night. But all things being equal, if they are at full strength, they're as good as anybody too. I've said all along that the league is really good, and I think it's, you mentioned 6 teams. I'm just going to be honest. I think it'll be awful if the league doesn't get at least 7. I think it's that good. UCF is right there. Don't look now, but TCU has kind of started to play their way back into this after having a little flat spot. But I think those top 4 or 5 teams prior to injury, the league would rival the best of the other major power conferences like the Big Ten. I think the top of the Big Ten, it's an obvious statement, but those they've got some teams in there, guys, that are really, really, really good and right Final Four worthy.
Yeah, I agree. And the injuries are just a heartbreaker for that. It's crazy. All these great players, all these names we're mentioning, if you just went by offense, PJ Haggerty, probably right there with any of them. It's amazing that it hasn't worked out for K-State. Now we're in this strange place of interim coaching. I think the noise has settled a little bit with what's coming with Jerome Tang, but is the noise inside the program there settled? I know it wasn't a great outcome this weekend, but is the team, able to just go business as usual at this point?
I think so. I'll give you a couple of examples here because, on the Sunday night that Tang was let go, I went to practice that following Monday afternoon. I may have mentioned this a little bit last week, that there were a lot of long faces and you could see that it was really, really difficult. Then the next day you play and I'm at shoot around at 1:00 and it was, I won't say totally different, but a lot different. Kids are resilient that way. That game day, you get juiced up and ready to go. That's the night they played well against Baylor, and Baylor has struggled. Everybody knows that, but it was a nice win. Now you get back to reality on the road. K-State has been a poor road team for a while. And even without Toppin, Tech is pretty good, and they had 5 players in double figures, made 13 threes, kind of just shot their way to victory. And K-State got smoked on the boards again. That's why they're 2-12, guys, because they're not a real good defensive team. They don't rebound the ball very well. And when those high-level teams play at a really good level, your chances are pretty slim, frankly. So on top of that, I guess I would add this. I know in defeat, when you get beat 100-72, you're down, what have you. I don't know if this team can get beat down any farther. I think they know what they are. They're trying to piece it together to the end. And I would just salute Coach Driscoll on how he's handling this. I've been really impressed with, him watching, kind of in the background of how he's handled PJ Haggerty and wanting him to step up and even do more. And he's not the only one, but I think he's really done a good job of kind of keeping them together, keeping them on the same page under, frankly, pretty difficult circumstances.
That is a really good description as to what's probably going on in this locker room with K-State. I got a question for you that kind of goes in the opposite direction. I know you can handle it real easy, but if I was to ask you, Wyatt, what does K-State basketball have to play for the last 4 games of this season? What do they have to play for? Why should they go out and give maximum effort? Why should they go out and even care if they win? Nobody else seems to care if they're going to win, what's going on. Why should this team band together and say, we're going to make a statement? Because they can do that. Why should they?
Well, I think why is just pride, to be honest with you. These guys have put a lot of work into this. Every team has. I mean, you think about, going back to the 1st of June when all of those new players came to campus and all the things they've been through Shark Week and, all of that getting ready for the season. And they have played some good basketball this year. I think they know they have flaws and inconsistencies, absolutely. But I also think, close doesn't count, but they had a shot against Nebraska as an example. They've played a lot of really good teams in the Big 12. I think on some given nights, you could look forward and say, with 5 games to go, I guess what we have, to me, there's some winnable games there. I'm not going to sit here and guarantee you they can win in Boulder, but I think they'll have a chance. And I certainly think they'll have a chance in the 2 home games after that with TCU and West Virginia. And then you go to KU. Okay, slimmer chance, certainly, without question. But it starts with pride. And I think those guys have not quit through really an adverse year, really odd year. And, for me, if you have some pride and some character and some toughness to you, you're going to finish to the end, win, lose, or draw. That's the way I see it.
Wyatt, I want to talk a little football before we let you go today.
Okay.
Because it's just been a bummer nonstop kind of with basketball. Football's been, I just saw they picked up a commitment from a big time legacy recruit yesterday, one of the better defensive linemen in the country. He's not going to help them next year, but next year, as the portal is such a hard thing to follow. I just go to rankings typically and see like what the guys that try to do this for a living think of it. And, they're kind of middle of the pack when you combine the high school kids with the transfer portal guys. You've got your Texas Techs out there spending gobs of money and everything. Meanwhile, Colin Klein's kind of kicking it old school for K-State. Seems like he's just piling up a ton of the players that have made K-State successful over the years, those 3-star type guys. What is the general consensus right now about what he's putting together to take the field next year, outside of Avery Johnson, of course?
Yeah, I think you said that and put that together really about as well as you can possibly do it, because I think the filling of holes, the recruiting, the portal, whatever you want to say, high school recruiting, all of that has been pretty good. Maybe about where Coach Kleiman was towards the end of his 7-year run. What I would tell you is I think at least now, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but I think as you look towards 27 and beyond, I think you may see an uptick there a little bit. And the young man you're referencing is probably a little bit of a part of that. They've got some great kids coming to visit. I do think Colin has gone back to what I would say the old school Bill Snyder type stuff with the 16 goals and the discipline and the toughness and the physicality and all of those kind of things. That shouldn't surprise anybody. That's what he talked about when he had his introductory press conference. I've said this before. I like the staff that he's put together from the standpoint of you've got some young, energetic recruiters / coaches, and you've got some guys that are a little longer in the tooth and have been around the block that can help out. I think he needed that. And I'm so anxious to see what they look like in the spring. I've got a lot of work to do to get to know this team, right? We've got a ton of new faces, but we were going to have that for the most part anyway. Maybe a little more so now than had, no change happened. But I can't wait. I happened to see Colin in a restaurant last night and talked to him briefly, and he's just grinding, man. And if you know him, that's what he does. That's who he is. They've been everywhere. I don't even know sometimes if he knows what day it is or what time it is, but he just keeps clicking, man. And we're excited for him.
I hate to ask this question because it's, it's on everybody's mind. I mean, it just the fact that we live in this era. But when it comes to NIL, is K-State operating with enough money? I mean, because if it's not, Jacob Albrock can write a check to to Kansas State University, and he can probably get us back and get K-State back in the running for a national championship. But where are we at with that? Is K-State happy? Is this coaching staff happy with what they have? Do they have enough to compete in the Big 12? Because maybe that ain't easy, is it, Wyatt?
Well, it isn't, and it's interesting you say that, Jacob. We will take whatever you're willing to
There
give
you
us.
go,
By the way,
Jacob.
I can get you a
I'm
pack
kidding.
of gum.
I'm kidding, but here's the probably the proper answer, Paul. To be honest, I think they are competing in NIL money in the league. Are they Texas Tech? No, probably not. But I also would tell you that I think our athletic director, our development office, those types of people, our donors, they want to be involved. And I do think, that they're going to continue to raise that to a certain degree. Some would question that, but there are a lot of people out there that are really excited about Colin Klein and what the potential is moving forward with football. And we have some donors that have basically said, well, if you need help, holler. We'll do what we can. And so I think they will compete. I don't think you have to be at the very, very top anyway to compete in this league. I think if you're in the neighborhood, you can. And I think teams are probably going to prove that. K-State, Arizona State, some of those types of teams. I mean, you've seen it, and I think that's probably a good thing moving forward. You have potential for growth, but basketball is a good example and a bad example. A good example from what they put into it to this point, not so good on the results, but the commitment that's there, the money has been there, and I think moving forward, you hope that continues too, because it needs to be. A lot of this is all about football. We all know that, and the biggest percentage of the rev share goes to that. But that's the money driver, and you got to do it that way. But I think they're going to continue to fund basketball and try to get the best coach out there if they can.
Wyatt, it's gonna cost money. I don't know where it'll come from. We ran a story Sunday. TJ and one of our fact finders did a really nice job with it about what administrators might be trying to get going with state lawmakers to get some help. With funding these athletic departments and everything else. It's at the very early stages. We don't even know exactly how we're doing it, but
right.
In all the years you've covered this university and this league, now it almost gets to it's not just league to league, it's state to state, it's all of these things. K-State, KU, I mean, to a lesser degree, Wichita State, I mean, it feels like they're positioned okay, but in a smaller populated state, like are there other challenges we foresee with all of this? I mean, it seems like they're trying to be aggressive on some forward thinking ideas, but these are things that are going to impact the landscape, I guess, for a long, long time that they're trying to solve right now. And Gene Taylor seems to be an aggressor on that front.
Yeah, you said a lot there, and I agree with what you're talking about. I mean, there are concerns, sure. We don't know what's going to happen in terms of how will the politics of this play, right? We don't know. Could we get state help at some point? We meaning all three universities or what have you. I don't know. I think it is possible down the road. I don't know that it's going to happen overnight. I think the big thing for me right now, that could become bigger as we move forward. The real thing right now for me personally would be the rev share where you're at 20 or 20 and a half. Everybody's going to do that, right? It's that extra NIL money that everybody is trying to raise. How much equality between these 16 teams will there be moving forward? Let's say in the next 3 to 5 years. That to me is the biggest question out there right now. And then you can talk about, changes and new legislation and, trying to get a better handle on all that all day long. But I'm going to keep an eye on that because that secondary NIL money is not going to be secondary. It's going to be at the forefront for a lot of these schools, but not all of them. And I'm anxious to see how that plays. Hope that makes sense.
It does. I think we're all just kind of sitting and waiting and seeing if they can get anything done. Yeah. Wyatt, we appreciate it. You guys are just coming down the home stretch there. I hope I hope they can give you some exciting upsets and thrilling things. It's Colorado, TCU, West Virginia, and Kansas. So winnable games. I'm with you when you said winnable games. The next one's Wednesday night. It's a late one. They have some games they can win.
Oh, yeah. And we haven't been in Boulder since 2011. They're a young team. Most people probably don't know. I did an interview with a guy yesterday. He said Tell me about Colorado. I hate to admit this, but I know nothing about them.
Don't feel bad. I don't either.
There'll be some people like that. They have a talented team. They have some length and some athleticism. They have a really good freshman guard, Isaiah Johnson. So they'll be tough there. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. They just took BYU to overtime a week ago on the road in Provo, beat Oklahoma State last Saturday. So they're more than capable. But if K-State plays well, and health-wise, I mean, who knows? I don't know whether Abdi Bashir will be available. He's close, but hasn't played yet. I'm waiting for the day that he's available, and I know you got to run, but any of those other guys, I don't know at this point. But having Abdi back would be a difference-making thing, at least some for sure.
No doubt about it. You'll hear it right here on KFH. Wyatt, we appreciate it. We'll talk again next week.
You bet. Great to see you, fellas. Take care.
This is Sports Radio
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
On KFH.
This March, the madness, not just on the court, it's taking over downtown Wichita. Join KFH for Hoops for Heroes at the 9th floor club and venue on March 20th. From midday madness, buffet lunches, to evening madness in the Cloud9 Cigar Lounge, it's the ultimate tournament watch party. Enter the Ultimate Bracket Challenge. 100% of bracket proceeds benefit Can Vets United, supporting our local heroes. Get tickets and brackets and learn how you can be a member for a day at 9thfloorwichita.com with 97.5 and 1240 KFH. I'm glad to have that on the radar here for March Madness. As we're getting close to March Madness, we have a big Monday game last night. Paul, a couple nuggets on that for you. Jayhawks have won, this is according to Matt Norlander, 62 straight Monday night home games. And it'll go into next season. That's the last one this year. 62. 62. We know, we've heard of the Bill Self piece of that, which is the last 41. He's never lost at Kansas on a big Monday. It is one of those strange things, one of those oddities. You're just not going to beat Kansas on a Monday night. You're especially not going to beat them at Allen Fieldhouse on a Monday night. And that played out last night. They come in, Houston with its back against the wall as much as it's going to get its back against the wall, because it's the first time they've lost 3 straight in forever. And KU absolutely shut them down. 69, 56 winners. The number 4 team in the nation scored 56 points. KU's defense, Paul, I've been saying it all year long. With Flory Badunga and Bryson Tiller down there, both able to guard guards, it has a chance to be the best defense in the country, and it sure looked like it last night.
Yeah, KU probably did the best job all season long of defending the 3 last night, particularly in that first half. That first half was a disaster for Houston. They couldn't get their offense going. They couldn't get shots from the 3.
Houston's a team that needs to shoot the 3.
And they've got to shoot the 3. And they could not score, but the reason they weren't scoring, you got to give credit to the University of Kansas. You just can't say, well, they had an off night. Well, maybe they did have somewhat of an off night. I don't know. But all I know is that they pressed the perimeter. They were still able to get back and defend the inside and those kind of things. And that's the key of, obviously, to defending the 3. A lot of credit to the Jayhawks for defending the 3, because that changed the way that Houston wants to do business on the offensive end of the floor.
It's interesting. We looked some of this up yesterday, coming out of the Cincinnati game, knowing that Houston was going to shoot a lot of 3s. Kansas, Paul, and this was going into last night, I don't know if this has changed. Kansas had the best 3-point defense by opposing, 3-point percentage in the conference, which surprised me a lot, actually, because it is, I agree with you, it's their Achilles heel. Now, the other part of that, though, that was really interesting, opposing teams by far take the most 3s against Kansas. Kansas defends more 3s in every game than its peers by a large gap. So, the last couple of years we've known going into the tournament, it's like, please don't let Kansas play a 3-point shooting team. Please don't let Kansas play a 3-point shooting team. Now, the same thing exists, though. They're a better defensive team against the 3, but teams shoot the 3 against them more than any team in the league. And so, and I think there's a lot of reasons for it. obviously with Flory Badunga down there and Bryson Tiller to some degree, like you're going to drive to the basket less. He's one of the elite shot blockers in the country. But for whatever reason, that one and many others, teams are going to take a high volume of threes against Kansas, despite the fact that Kansas, by league numbers, has defended the three better than anybody else. Now, you're talking about 30% versus 33 or 34%. Like it's not a wide, it's not a wide margin there, but it is what it is. And it's probably not going to change. So that's why, for me, when we have the Darren Peterson conversation and people want to say, well, they look more cohesive sometimes without him out there. And I don't totally disagree with that. I totally disagree with the sentiment that they're better without him. I just don't believe that's the case at all. But there are times they look more in sync without him, for sure. There's no question. But I think the reason he's so important is because no matter who Kansas is playing at this point, it certainly doesn't seem like that team is going to try to make threes on them. And in the case of Cincinnati, who actually did make a bunch of those shots, I think they made 12 or 14 of them, that puts Kansas in a tough spot. And that's where I think Darren Peterson is so important. They have to have somebody who can, with the back against the wall, go try to make offense a little easier. And that's what he's going to bring to them. I wonder, too, like, is there a world where Darren Peterson can give you 30 minutes but not be this major focal point? Because that's kind of what we saw last night. He doesn't have to be touch the ball every time, take every shot. That doesn't have to be the case, and he can still be on the floor. Look at last night's game. He clearly isn't a defensive liability. They were great defensively with him on the floor for 30 minutes. So can he just be a cog in the wheel the rest of the way? That when he is on, like he was in the first half against Oklahoma State, you look up and you're like, oh my God, he's made 6 threes in this game. And we just started the second half.
Let me answer that question. All depends on the presence that you have in the paint, because guys like Darren Peterson, they're going to be so much better if there's a presence that has to be accounted for down inside the paint. Let me put it this way. Let's say Hunter Dickinson, let's say he was on this team. This would be a different team. This would be a different Darren Peterson. This would be an entirely different University of Kansas basketball team. And the presence of Hunter Dickinson is, let's face it, that guy was a player. He made a difference on both the defensive end and the offensive end. And the presence of a Hunter Dickinson is probably not quite as noticeable. That's not bad. It has its moments where it's pretty good, but a consistent Hunter Peterson type would make a huge difference. And that affects how much a defense can step out to the three to defend if you have a presence down low. All kinds of things. It makes a difference on how you can go to the basket. It makes a difference on how you can play off the wings and how you can post it up. There's all kinds of differences that can be made. So, yeah, I know what you're saying, and I think Bill Self is doing all he can do with the players he has. And they're not bad players, but, a lot of it has to do with what is the ability of those down in the paint.
Well, it's very high, very high, at least defensively. And they are always, with Bill Self, going to try to start the offense down there, and they should, because and Flory Badunga did try. He was a little out of control offensively early in the game. He wasn't really a factor in the game offensively. Bryson Tiller did get to double digits, but we've seen them be more effective down there. Trey White led the way. I guess that's what I mean. Like, it was a Trey White game, which I don't think a lot of people saw coming. KU was lethal from the free throw line, which was, an underrated part of the win, and something that gets overlooked a little bit. You go 18 of 20 from the line. Are you kidding me? But it was a Trey White game. I guess that's maybe my question, whether it's what you were just talking about, the big guys down low, whether it's a game Melvin Council finds it, whether it's a Trey White game, which was really nice to see because he is a high percentage shooter. Okay. Can Peterson just flow into that? I thought last night's game plan was offensively probably fine. Peterson took 14 shots. I can live there. Now, he didn't hit a ton of them last night. It was not even close to his best offensive game last night, but he didn't turn the ball over a whole bunch, which we've seen happen to him from time to time when he's played a bunch of minutes. Like, to me, that was as close to ceiling. I mean, it's easy to say beating Arizona or the first half against BYU was ceiling. But I think, like, and mostly, like, the BYU first half specifically, it's because Peterson made a bunch of those shots. I think the ceiling is pretty close to what we saw last night with him, which is elite level defense and about a 14 shot volume, because there's a lot of nights where he's going to make 8 of those. And now all of a sudden you beat Houston by a wider margin would be about the only difference. There will be games where, to your point, it's Flory Badunga leading the way offensively. And that's great. I think that's what Bill Self would like. But you're playing Houston, and Houston's mean and nasty and all the things Houston always is.
That's right.
So can Darren Peterson fit into this, where some nights it's a Trey White night, some nights it's Flory Badunga night, some nights it's a Melvin Council night, and some nights it's a Darren Peterson night? Because if they can get to that point where he's playing 30 minutes and it's not the Darren Peterson show, but the KU show featuring Darren Peterson, that I think is where we're going to get as close as we can to the ceiling in the time that's left in this season.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, Darren Peterson is the key to this whole thing. The keys of the kingdom hang off his belt, because he's the guy that, obviously, if he plays well going into the tournament, the Big 12 tournament,
he can sneeze 25 points. I mean, he can.
Yes, I guess you're right. He probably can if he wants to.
But he didn't last night, and somebody else stepped up. And there haven't been a lot of times, Paul, with him on the floor where they've been able to be fine if he's out there and not scoring. Sometimes it's looked really disjointed, and
right.
And I think that's where we get that sentiment of, boy, are they better without him?
Well, hold on just a second, because let's face it, Houston is pretty good defensively. They knew.
I totally agree.
They knew who Darren Peterson was. They knew what jersey number he was wearing, didn't they? And you got to give a lot of credit to.
And Trey White hit a bunch of open shots.
And that's and part of the reason, that's exactly part of the reason why, with the care and the need to know where Darren Peterson was on the floor at any given time that KU had the basketball. You got to know where the guy is. He's that good. And so, with that being said, I certainly understand what you're trying to say. And yet there are certain times when it's and you and TJ have talked endlessly about Darren Peterson and all the things that are going on with him, and who he is, what he does, what he believes, his emotions on the floor, which seem to be lacking to a lot of people. And I get that, but he's still a factor on the floor. When that kid is on the floor, he's a real deal. I mean, you're paying him as by the way, I got a kick out of that last night. One of the announcers, as I was watching that basketball game, said, well, you're paying that kid $3 to $4 million. He ought to be coming, and here we go again. And I thought, oh gosh, here we go again, criticizing how much one can play, when one can take themselves out of a ball game. And I'm not going to get into that, because obviously you and TJ have gotten into that bunches and bunches and bunches. But I get the point on that. But you're right. A lot of this basketball season, with what's left coming up, what's left is going to rest on the shoulders of Darren Peterson. He makes things go. When he's playing, when he wants to play, when he's moving, when he's shooting, when he's handling the ball, when he's distributing the ball, he makes this season go for the University of Kansas. And I think that's okay. I think
they've got some learning to do. They go at Arizona, Arizona State. They come home to play Kansas State in a rivalry game. They'll have the Big 12 tournament. There is if he can consistently stay out there, there is time for KU to hit its peak at the right time. And I think last night was about as close to the formula as we got to see.
Yeah.
Okay, you want more on that in the second hour. Your calls, your comments on it. Tell you about a charity event coming up this week when we return, and get you into another hour of Sports Daily. Don't go away.
This is 97.5 and 1240 KFH Wichita, K248CY Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, and Odyssey Sports Station.
The KFH Studios, powered by Devon James Injury Lawyers. Call 888-8888.
That's 888-8888.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text METER to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text METER to 42424. That's METER to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Wichita deserves better than an $850 million sales tax hike. Seniors, working families of all political parties are voting no on March 3rd. They know you shouldn't pay more to fund a wish list of big-ticket projects dreamed up by developers and city insiders. Worst of all, nothing details where the money goes. Enough is enough. On March 3rd, say no to the backroom deals and bailouts of failed projects. Missing this election will cost you. Show up and vote no on March 3rd.
Paid for by the Save Taxpayers Vote No Coalition. Carl Peter John, Treasurer.
Patterson Legal is the way to go. Call 550-0000. I'm attorney Tyler Patterson. At Patterson Legal Group, we always stress results because recovering over $230 million for thousands of injured clients is a big deal. Whether you're injured in a motorcycle, car, or truck accident, we have the know-how to make the insurance companies pay top dollar. In a wreck, need a check? Call Patterson Legal Group today. Patterson Legal is the way to go. Call 550-0000.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code Wichita and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, and more of your favorite sports with same-game parlays, live betting, and more. Earn BetMGM rewards points on every bet. Take advantage of offers found nowhere else, and keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the year. Sign up with bonus code Wichita and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hi, I'm Maria, salon owner. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather. And it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're all
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, here to Sports Daily. Jacob Albrocht, Paul Savage with you on this Tuesday, reacting to KU last night, getting you ready for a big week in the sports world. We'll tell you about a charity event coming up in just a minute. The KFH hotline's open for you at 869-1240. You've got your video streams available. Thanks for watching us on 12 News Connected, on Facebook, on YouTube, on X. If you're listening to us on the Odyssey app, you can leave voice messages there as well. It's all ready for you. We're going to be talking more about KU's big win last night coming up in this hour. The Chiefs make a roster move. A veteran is cut, freeing up a little more money. Get Paul Savage's take on this Chiefs offseason as well coming up in this hour. It's all what's on tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company. And the Wichita Brewing Company now featuring the Dub event venue at WBC Delano. Perfect for graduation parties, meetings, and reunions. Visit www.wichitabrew.com to begin your booking at the Dub event venue at WBC Delano, where groups gather. We come back in. We welcome in Steve Crum.
Hello, guys.
Steve, how are you this morning?
Doing good.
Well, you guys, we've talked to you about this before, and it is that time of year. Over at Campus High School, for everybody, the swimming and diving team is going to do their Swim to a Wish fundraiser for the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri and Kansas. Derby is going to participate again this year, and it's a way that you guys raise some money. But for the folks out there, you've got kids getting together, and for what's this usually take, about 3 or 4 days, 2 days?
It takes about 44 hours.
44 hours. They're going to swim 100 miles consecutively, collectively, but consecutively. Welcome in, Steve. How are you this morning?
Doing great. Yeah, we have 5 boys from our team and then 5 boys from Derby. They're going to swim 20 miles each, and they're going to do it relay style. So yeah, there'll be somebody in the water the entire time. And like I said, we're going to start this Friday at like 4:15, and they will get done sometime Sunday around noon, 1 o'clock, something like that. And yeah, it's all to raise money for Make-A-Wish, Kansas, Missouri.
You know, I know this has got to be a serious deal because you're linking up with Derby. You wouldn't walk across the street for Derby. I know you wouldn't. You're not fooling me one iota. So this has got to be something really special to hook up with Derby and raise funds. But man, oh man, you guys are raising funds for something that we can all relate to. And man, do you ever touch a lot of people through this particular charity. They do great work, don't they?
They do. And actually, that's how we ended up doing this. Kelly Kennedy, our head coach, his daughter had a Wilms tumor when she was 4 years old. This was over 20 years ago. And she had to have a kidney taken out and stuff, and they got a wish granted. And Kelly just always wanted to try to find a way to give money back.
Oh, man.
14 years ago, we had 5 seniors that said, hey, we'd like to do something special to maybe, something for the community. And we've been involved in a swim-a-thon before. And so Kelly and I kind of brought that up to them. They thought that sounded like a great idea. And Kelly asked if we could do it for Make-A-Wish so we could start paying them back. And that was 14 years ago. And we have donated over $340,000 to Make-A-Wish so far.
That's fantastic. 100% of the proceeds, yes, to the Make-A-Wish of Missouri and Kansas.
Correct.
Is what this goes to. So as people are hearing this and maybe want to help, and we're so proud of the kids for doing it, to be quite honest, what are ways that people can help raise the money?
Well, there's a really simple link they can get on and link, and they can give it to a team or even to a specific swimmer. And that link is just wish.org/MoCan/swim. It's really easy. Take you right there. You can click on campus or Derby, and then you'll see all the coaches that are there and the swimmers, and you can donate to a particular one, or you can just donate to the event. They can come down to Campus High School at 2100 West 55th Street South. The Glenn Crum Natatorium is where the both teams are swimming there. You can get a shirt for $10. We also have we have 2 raffles going on this year. Actually, we have a football signed by Leo Chanel from the Chiefs, and we also have a packet of 4 Royals tickets with a parking pass. And for those, each one of those are separate, but it's $5 for one raffle ticket for that, or you can get 3 for $10 on that one, or you can just come down and say, hey, here's $10, give this to one of the swimmers, and we'll put that on the swimmers tab. And then at the end of the event, about a couple weeks after, the website will shut down and we'll have our total and we'll give them a big check.
We've got that website listed under Steve's name. If you're watching us on the video stream, you can see it right under his name there. It's wish.org/MOCAN, which is MOKAN/swim. Steve, what is, again, the people, there are lots of different ways they can help, but you've got straight donations and you've got, what is the cost of the raffle ticket?
The raffle tickets, you can get one for $3, or excuse me, one for $5 or 3 for $10.
Got it.
And then the shirts are $10 if you want a shirt. And we went with pink this year. We try to have different colors every year because some people collect them. So this is the first year we've had one this color, which I think it looks really good.
Steve, Paul mentioned on the Derby, do you guys keep time on your swimmers? Is there a little side timekeeping going there?
Oh, good question.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. Derby beats us every year, but it's because they don't have as much stamina as us, and they end up swimming together, usually early Sunday morning. So they usually get done about 10 a.m.
Okay. All right. Well, we're looking forward to it, Steve. It's a great event every year. Swim to a Wish. It's the campus high school swim team. The boys Derby's going to join them. The Glenn Crum Natatorium, that's at campus high school, starts 4:15 Friday, but really people can come by anytime if they want to cheer them on, donate a little bit. It'll be going pretty much all weekend long, and it goes to a great cause. Anything we've missed, Steve?
Yeah, actually, I just remembered, hey, if you want to come to anybody that likes to swim for exercise, we encourage people to come down and do what we call support miles, so that it's just not one kid from campus and one kid from Derby in an 8-lane pool. We don't like them having to swim by themselves. So we have people that come down and swim support miles with them or support laps.
No kidding.
The last 3 or 4 years, we've had more than 100 support miles swam as well.
Wow. I had that is tremendous. That is
I actually went down yesterday to the Sedgwick County Fire Department here and gave them the info, because I know a lot of firemen like to swim for exercise. And so they were sending that out to see if some of their guys want to come down and swim with the boys.
Okay. Wow. Challenge out there. See if you can get out there and compete. Steve, we really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, I really appreciate you getting us on. And we will be all over social media too, so they can find links on social media really easy.
And just help a good cause more than anything else. Go have some fun, help a good cause. Steve, we appreciate it. We appreciate the work that you guys put in on this. Steve Crum, it's wish.org/MOCAN/swim if you'd like to participate and you can't get out there in person.
Thanks a lot, guys.
There goes Steve Crum. Appreciate that.
You know, I'm just going to say this. I sure am appreciative of people like Tony.
Oh, think you could swim a lap?
I could sink a lap. I could do that. That I can do. But I tell you, I'm so appreciative to to Tony Ducey. He says, yeah, get some of these charities on. I'll tell you what, that's one of the things I'm proud about this particular show is you're not afraid to go out there and help some of these good organizations that do good things. And I appreciate that. And you're the one that always okays it, Jacob. And I want to tell you, thank you for what you do for a lot of the charities in this town yourself. So thank you, Jacob. I appreciate it. I know everybody understands what a job it is to raise funds in today's world, and Make-A-Wish, man, that's something special. And thank you, Jacob, for allowing something like this to be able to plug that and help them out.
Yeah, thanks to everybody at Odyssey for letting us do it when we can. We appreciated it. There's a lot of people doing a lot of great work out there, and we like highlighting them as often as we can. This is a cool, fun, unique event that's been going on a long time, and I know we've talked to Steve about it in the past. And
that's right.
Yeah, Make-A-Wish. What's better than that?
Oh my gosh, that's just tremendous.
It's good stuff. And you know what I love about it is that the kids are involved in it. That's what I love about it. Is when the kids get involved with it now, you set a foundation for them to be doing these types of good things later in life.
That's a good way of looking at it.
So we'll cheer them on remotely. Good luck to the swimmers, and if you're inclined, get out there and support them in any way that you can. All right, coming up in this hour, the Chiefs make a roster cut yesterday. We'll see if Paul saw that one. Max will be squirming as they continue to free up money at the salary cap. We'll talk about that, their strategy. Mel Kiper just put out his latest mock, and we'll tell you who he's got slotted there. But we continue into that discussion, the strategy of an interesting offseason for the Chiefs, and we can get more into KU and Houston as we did in the first hour if you are so inclined as well. It's all coming up for us here on Sports Daily. I want to say thank you to Crestview Country Club for being a great supporter of this program. We're talking a lot of swimming. One of the great pools in the city out there at Crestview Country Club is going to open up in the next couple of months. We're starting to get a little warmer. This week will feel a little like swimming weather. I know Paul Savage will be out in his best Hawaiian,
I'll tell you
celebrating the sunshine coming.
You ought to see me in Speedos.
Oh, yeah, baby. It is a family show. This family show. Easy, ladies. Easy there.
All's in the Speedo now.
Yeah, that's right. You can only see the waist up right now on the video stream.
Jeez,
Viewers beware. Let's hope Paul doesn't have to get up and go get a cup of coffee. But thanks to Crestview Country Club. It'll be golf and weather this week. They got 36 holes. Never a better time to join. Give them a call. Tell them we sent you. Here from Sports Daily. We're coming right back. Let's talk some Chiefs when we return.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
we investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. Glad to have you here with us on KFH. Jacob Albrock, Paul Savage in for TJ Cleland today. TJ up in Lawrence covering the game last night. The big Monday win for KU. It was a lot of fun. We'll just put it that way. If you're a KU fan, you get to see them play well again, which is what you wanted to see after they laid the egg against Cincinnati. And I do think Cincinnati had a lot to do with that, to be quite honest.
Well, of course, yes.
They played a really good game, but KU's, it shows its vulnerability, which is a team that shoots a high percentage against them from three, because every team that plays them shoots a whole bunch of threes, is going to, create that challenge. Houston tried to do the same thing, and they didn't make very many of them. When you get into a neutral court in March, what happens? That's the danger, for KU this year, last year, the year before. Can they keep up if a team starts hitting a bunch of threes? And we'll have to just, wait and see a little bit on that, and hope that they can elevate their offense enough, Paul, to be able to withstand it. Let's talk some Chiefs here.
All right.
Mike Dana, longtime Chief, kind of off and on, cut yesterday. Move saves $9 million against the cap. Now, that was one I'm not sure I totally was aware of as a possibility. He started 14 games for the Chiefs last year, but, he's started 32 of them over the last 3 seasons. He had a sack and an interception last year. He's one of those guys, that just fits what Spags wants to do, knows what he's doing. But saving $9 million against the cap, before a Travis Kelce decision, and with Jawan Taylor still likely coming off the books, the Chiefs are furiously saving some money. They're just over the cap has them $3.5 million above now. We assume Jawan Taylor's going to get cut. There's probably room, at least in the Chris Jones contract, to free up some money. They're going to have a little bit of free agency money this offseason, Paul. They also have the number 9 pick. Mel Kiper Jr. this morning mocks to the Chiefs Jeremiah Love.
Oh.
Jeremiah Love's the top running back, one of the top playmakers. Kuiper calls him the second best player in this draft. It would be a need, I would think. Have you bought in? Let's take it back a step further. Have you bought into the idea with Mahomes' injury and all the money they've invested on that offensive line that now's the time for the Chiefs to reinvest and establish themselves into not a run-based team, but a run-the-ball-more team than they have in the past?
Well, Jeremiah Love gives the Chiefs more of an option because he's a guy that you can get out on the flat.
Even if it's not Love, because
I'm sorry.
No, even if it's not Love. They've got money now to potentially spend in free agency. Are you on board with investing in the run game, I guess, is the easiest way to ask the question.
Well, what I was going to say was with Jeremiah Love, it's not just the run game, because that is one of the best players in this entire draft to get out in the flat, to get out as a receiver, to get out of the pocket, to catch the ball, to gain yards after the catch. He is a weapon. He's not just a run weapon. And that's, I think, the reason why Mel Kiper calls him the second or third best player in this draft, is because he does other things. And we all know that, we all have an understanding that, a lot of times it's not so important to get the ball into the hands of a great running back inside the box, but you get that running back outside the box, into space, into territory where he becomes difficult to tackle. And that's what I kind of like about this draft pick, because it's kind of what I would consider a running back / to a lesser extent receiver, and puts a lot of pressure on a defense to defend. So I like that part. The Dana thing's okay. It's real fine. I don't mind that. Kansas City has got some. Well, we're going to get more information as time goes on as to what's going on. It's hard to get all frizzled and get excited and all this about what the Chiefs are doing right at this very moment. That's sort of the way I look at it. If you want to know the truth, Jacob, I think the best story in free agency right now is the Dallas Cowboys. I think that's a fascinating story, what's going on right there with receivers on that franchise. I think that's pretty interesting. Now that's interesting.
It is. They've got a decision. They're going to tag George Pickens.
Of course they're going to. Of course they're going to tag him.
They're going all in for next year. That's what they should do.
They need to do it, don't they? That's what they need to do. That's what the fans say. That's what anybody that knows anything says. Go in all this time.
You have to go in next year. Next year is about the end of it for them. But the Chiefs don't need to do that. That's the thing with the Chiefs.
Oh my God.
They don't need to.
How do you figure this? First of all, the Cowboys in effective cap space are $32 million over. The Chiefs are in effective cap space are nearly $11 million over.
How do we figure what, Max? Which part of that?
What do we figure?
Well, how do you tag Pickens if you're $32 million over the cap?
Because they can Max, all these teams can free up money by restructuring contracts, just like the Chiefs are doing right now. They will. They can I don't think they've ever restructured Dak. They'll restructure Dak and get most of that back just through that. You just have to get to work and do what the Chiefs are doing now. Now, I get it. This is Dallas's front office trying to do this.
Down the road.
They don't have a great history of doing smart things in free agency.
You got to pay it down the road, though.
Well, you don't. That's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say for the Cowboys, you go all in this year. They don't need to think about down the road. They're an aging team.
Is when you do that, it's like a credit card, but you don't pay interest.
I get it. That's the point of going all in now. If you're Dallas, you got to go all in. They're not. What are they going to do? What are the Cowboys? Jerry Jones is a little long in the tooth. If they're going to win it all, and they went in with Dak Prescott, it's got to be right now. They got to go. They traded Micah Parsons to get the draft picks. It's now or never for them. It's an interesting comparison because the Chiefs are not in that situation. The Chiefs do not have to go all in right now.
Yeah,
they don't.
Yeah,
they've got Patrick Mahomes. They got Patrick Mahomes at 31 years old. You're all in. Like, you don't have to go all in. You're expecting at least 6-7 more years of being able to do something.
Well, no, but I think the time is now. It's not 5, 6, 7 years. It's now. I for the Chiefs. I do believe that. But on the other hand, you look at the Cowboys and what they're going to do with their free agents tag and all that kind of the franchise tag. I mean, I sure like what they're doing. And you're right. You made a great point about Jerry Jones. That's an interesting point, is because that's a guy with pride. He is the Dallas Cowboys. That's who his ego is. That is what his personality is. He is the Dallas Cowboys. He's ready to win. You're right. Long in the tooth is a good way of getting old. And he wants to win and cement his legacy with the Dallas Cowboys by winning another Super Bowl. That's obvious. He's going to throw.
But that's not the Chiefs don't have to do that. The Chiefs can think both now and to the future. I mean, they
got a little more time. They got a little more time.
Sure
I will grant you that. They do have more time. But time has a way of getting away from all of us, doesn't it?
What is though the best path for them to have a shot next year, in Paul Savage's opinion? You've got Mahomes. Mahomes is coming off an ACL. Rashee Rice's situation's a little cloudy, a little murky. Travis Kelce, we're waiting on a decision. I think he's going to come back. There's, to me, when you have spent as much money and draft capital as they have on the draft, it's time to let those offensive linemen eat a little bit. It's time to run the ball a little bit. Protect Mahomes while he comes back from an ACL. The question becomes, you don't ever get a top 10 pick in Kansas City right now. Like, that never happens. Now they have one. Are you going to use it on a running back?
I like the way you're thinking, and let me kind of rephrase the way you're speaking, and that is, if you want to preserve Mahomes, if you want to keep him around an extra year or two, once he gets into that mid-30s, starts pressing the upper 30s, you got to run the football. You've got to make sure that you keep teams from being able to run after the quarterback and chase him down like crazy, and all those kind of things, by having a run game. And that's how you do it. That's how you stop pass rushes. You make them honor the run first. And if you can run the football, if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, and let Mahomes have a little more freedom, and that's what happens when you run the football, all of a sudden that changes the course of how defenses defend, of how they game plan, of how they cover, of coverages in the defensive backfield. Everything changes if you can run the football, because now all of a sudden you're going to see safeties cheating up closer to the box, and that frees open space. So you're right. You've touched on the key. Run the football. If you can run the football and get good at it, oh, brother Jacob, you're right on target there. Run the football, and you're going to see this team back in the Super Bowl.
I think so. We got to see Mahomes come back, and we got to see the defense.
Well,
here's where this all comes in. Dana frees up $9 million. We've looked into this. There's been some really good work done by people. Jeremiah Love will cost, as to be drafted in that draft slot, you're going to be paying that player like $8 million a year, 4 years, 32 guaranteed. Right now, Paul, Breece Hall is projected to be about a 10 or 11 million a year running back. So let me ask you this way. Would you rather have Jeremiah Love at 9 for $8.5 million? Or would you rather have Breece Hall and the number 9 pick for, $11 million?
That's a good question. At this point right now,
Breece Hall, I think, is about a year and a half, 2 years older than Jeremiah Love.
Right, boy. Oh, that is a really tough question, and you've stumped the chump almost on that one as I think about that. But off of first blush, I might say Jeremiah Love, and that's I'm not throwing shade towards my guy Breece, but I'll tell you that because he is good. But there's such a set of skills that is offered with Jeremiah Love. With regards to out of the backfield and catching the ball, it changes so much. I guess that's what I'm going to hang my hat on. Is that anything good to hang my hat on?
Sure, yeah. You like the player. To me, I'm surprised to hear you say it too, because I'd rather have Hall and a defensive lineman at 9.
And the pick, and the pick, yeah.
I think.
Hey, that makes sense to me,
because there's not a huge cost. There's not going to be a huge cost difference. The thing that I have not thought a lot about until the last couple of weeks is that drafting Jeremiah Love there makes him very expensive at the position. right? $8.5 million for a running back. There aren't a lot of them that are making that much money.
No. That is true.
And so
That's
you get
very
it, but
true.
$8.5 million for a defensive lineman, or now we'll see. And this is a camp I have not been in that I guess with Rashee Rice's latest off the field thing, I guess I'm leaning into it being a possibility wide receiver. $8.5 million. If that guy's good for 3 or 4 years, it's a screaming discount.
Well, I guess the only thing you're missing out of your conversation is whenever you mention Jeremiah Love, you always say running back. You ought to say running back / receiver.
Well, so is Breece Hall. Breece Hall. Breece Hall caught, I think, 75 balls one year. That dude can catch the ball. It's hard. And I don't think if the draft comes and goes and we got it. The good news is we're going to see free agency first. So we'll know where the Chiefs, and it's not just Breece Hall. Some people think Travis Etienne. I know we've got some listeners and viewers that like Travis Etienne. I don't like him nearly as much as I like Breece Hall. I like Breece Hall quite a bit more than I like Travis Etienne, but Etienne's a versatile back too that can do a lot of different things. It'll be a very interesting thing to see because the Chiefs are freeing up money furiously right now. They're not going to free up enough to go attack wide receiver in free agency for a big ticket item. What are they freeing it up for? That's what I want to know. And they're not going to free up enough for a big ticket defensive lineman. They're too expensive. They won't have enough to do that kind of stuff. Now, they've got other business they've got to do on smaller deals and filling out a roster, and I get all that too. But as they get into that territory, I'm just not convinced they don't go attack running back through free agency and then draft, maybe just go best player available, but draft based on you got to project that out. You cannot miss on that pick. And if you don't miss on that pick and you draft a guy at receiver or defensive line that's going to be a premier player, they're going to be very expensive to duplicate.
Yeah.
Running backs, not so much.
Might be a little bit early in that take the best player available talk. That may be a little
at
early.
9, you cannot miss that pick. They have to take the best player available. They have to. You can't miss at 9. They've taken swings and misses, quite frankly, on guys that they thought were the best. And it, Felix Anudike, Uzama, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like they've taken some of those guys and it hadn't worked out for them, but they've been picking at 31, 32. So it's like, whatever. When you're picking at 9, you're not going to get that chance very often. You better get that one right.
Yeah, right.
You have
you've got a point.
And Jeremiah Love's not going to be a disappointment. Like you're not going to pick him at 9 and be disappointed with that. He's a safe pick. He's a very talented player.
If he goes to the right team and they use him with his,
the Chiefs are with that offensive line, the Chiefs are the right team for any running back.
Yeah. By the way, how would you like to be Jeremiah Love and find out, hey, right now it looks like I have a chance to go to the Chiefs, and this is a football team
kidding me?
That has a premier quarterback who can get me the ball, who's going to, they're going to be better.
You're going to go run behind Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith?
Well, it's
those road graders. You kidding?
Yep. There you go.
It's a tremendous. Selfishly, but let's be selfish for a second.
All right, go.
Let's get Breece Hall to Kansas City. How great a story would that be?
Something
Come on now.
Okay, something. I'm switching.
Come on now.
You're exactly
right.
Gotta
do it.
Something. What a way to wrap up a career, get you here, stay the next 7-8 years, whatever's left in his career, retire as a Kansas City Chief.
Awesome.
Something. I take back my pick with Jeremiah Love. I'm going.
Love's great. I like Love. If they attack free agency in other ways and decide to go with Love, it will be just fine.
You're right. I've thought about it.
But it's the cost proposition of I'm not sure Etienne would be more than Love, but Breece Hall for $2 more million than Love, and I get to keep pick 9.
That's kind of a kicker, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go that way. Running back's just not as expensive. I can't address wide receiver or defensive end with one of the best players in the league at running back like I can with Breece Hall.
All right, I'm changing.
Micah Parsons just got paid $50 million. Don't you think it'd be handy to draft a defensive end that might be a game wrecker at the free market going rate of what a defensive lineman costs right now?
Makes sense to me. It makes sense to me.
It's interesting.
Remember, though,
I did not see Mike Dana. Go ahead, Max. What'd you say?
On Breece Hall, there's Titans have a ton of money. The Chargers have a ton of money. And your boy Dak, geez, he counts 74 million against the cap.
That's what I mean. That there is so much room to restructure Dak that they haven't explored. That will probably get them under the cap just by itself.
Yeah, because everybody else is fairly cheap. CD Lamb's 25. Smith is 23.
And CD probably, he's already restructured. I don't know that he'd help him this year, but Dak will. Dak will clear. But, they got to clear a lot if they go to Stephen Jones said yesterday that that's the plan, is to tag Pickens, which makes some sense. I mean, that's again, what do you can't pay Dak $75 million and not give him all the weapons in the world. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not, Tom Brady over the years. He's not this guy that can survive and thrive with different guys every year. He's not Dak. Dak's got to have his guys. All right, we'll come back. We got more Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Sports Daily is on KFH.
All right, welcome back here, everybody, to Sports Daily. Glad to be here with you on a Tuesday, following a big Monday, a big night of college basketball. Darren Peterson did get a chance to talk after the game. You know, that's been something I think a lot of people have pointed to lately is, you know, maybe Peterson can help some of this stuff and you know, some of the narrative by just talking about it, talk through it, talk about what it's been like trying to go through it. Got a 18-year-old kid who's, you know, as highly touted an incoming freshman as we can remember, who's had whatever this medical concern or issue is that nobody can figure out, including him. Just talk about it. So the more he does that, I think probably the more it helps his case. I was glad to see him talk after the game last night, Paul. Nothing that's headline stealing or grabbing or anything else. You know, just get him out there. Let people get to know him a little bit.
You know, most people just sigh of relief, and this is just human nature, Jacob. It's nothing special. Sigh of relief. He played the whole game, didn't take himself out, and that's a good sign. You know, going into conference
back on at the end of the game, Paul, when the game was in control, they didn't have to have him out there.
And a sigh of relief, I think,
at the end of the day, it tells you that he didn't have the physical ailment that's been, you know, been holding him back.
I don't know that that's what tells us. It tells us that it's better than, and I'm not going to say it was or wasn't, but I get your point.
Well, it was better last night. It was better last night.
And he played. That was a good sign. I think everybody agrees. And I'll tell you what, you and I aren't the first guys to point that out, by the way.
Well, look, it's been confusing. It's been challenging. It's been annoying, quite frankly. Now the national media have caught up to, as the NBA draft gets a little closer and we're getting closer to March Madness and college basketball's making its way through the hot take shows and the discussion shows. It's become a big topic of conversation that we've been having at the local level since November, since October. You know, what's going on here?
Yeah, and this is probably his agent.
It's a lot of noise.
Yeah, and his agent or the people around him are saying, "Hey, it's time. You can't pull this stuff." I mean, let's face it. He's got a lot of
stuff, I don't think, Paul. I think that's the point.
Oh, do you?
I legitimately he's got a cramping issue that he's not going to play through. And I know people on this show have heard me say this a million times. He's got a cramping issue that he's not going to play through. And the hope is that the cramping issue is done. And last night, at least, we saw it. The game before that, Cincinnati, we saw it. But Oklahoma State in the second half, he had to go out. So, you know, we're sitting there and we're just watching and waiting and hoping that it can consistently not have to do it.
Well, but you understand why people go, huh? You know, they see a game where he goes out, you know, 17 minutes left in regulation. Huh? Let me think about that. Going out at this time, you know, you understand what that pause is about, don't you?
Oh, absolutely I do, Paul.
Okay,
and I also understand why people that haven't been watching it closely all year are now jumping into the foray with an opinion on it.
A lot of
because you can look on paper and you can see this and you can see him checking out and you can say, oh man, you can see his peers saying, if they need me to play 40 minutes, I'm going to play 40 minutes. All of these things, you can see it. And if you weren't trying to follow it on literally a day-to-day basis with this team, that's the easy assumption. It's the assumption for a lot of people, even that have been following it every day. It's not my assumption.
Yeah.
But I understand it.
Let me give you one of the reasons why I think everything that he says is real. In fact, that, the problems that he have, it's not contrite. It's not made up. It's not doggy good, as one might say. And the reason I say that is because there seems to be understanding and sympathy from his teammates. I mean, we haven't seen, anybody make light, make fun, and I don't even mean where you have to come out and say, hey, he needs to gut it up and play.
They haven't said much. They've been pretty quiet about it. But I've never gotten the indication by body language. I agree with you. I agree.
Why? But that's why I think it's real. It's because it could listen. You lose to Cincinnati the way you lost to Cincinnati. It would be easy for players of the University of Kansas to lash out at somebody. Find that reason. What happened? Why? What went wrong? That whole thing. And that's why I think this is a real deal. Now, it's got to be accounted for. And there's a lot of people that haven't thought that. Listen, Pedersen has gotten a lot of heat from national guys over the course of the last 2 weeks. And I know you've seen a lot of it. And it's been whole conversations for whole segments on radio and television. And
what's guys like Dick Vitale saying they're better off without him. And I'm like, what?
That's my point. That's my point. And yet on the team itself, amongst his teammates, amongst his coaches, there seems to be a real understanding as to what the problem is. That's why I'm saying that this is what's pointing towards the tournament, both tournaments. I'll say both tournaments. What's pointing towards both tournaments is going to be good for the University of Kansas. And then maybe with this game having been,
as long as he's healthy.
Yeah. There you go. But he played through the whole game. And that tells me, well, maybe we're there. And maybe that time has come where the time it took to get better has come and gone. And now it's time to play. More power to him.
If he doesn't have the cramping issue at Oklahoma State, there really has only been that one. And if he doesn't have that, you've had the flu game, which also, put this into everybody's talking about the flu and everything else. But if you go and you look at his logs on minutes, like it's been outside of the Oklahoma State game, Paul.
Right.
And of course, when he had to miss with the flu, if you go back, let's go back to, to BYU, he had the second half where he had to come out, the cramps, all that stuff. But then it went 35 minutes at Texas Tech, 34 minutes at Utah, 24 minutes with Iowa State. But that's coming off the flu,
right?
And they were getting crushed. So Bill Self said they were just trying to, whatever. Then he had the second half cramps against Oklahoma State, but then it's been 32 and 30 minutes after that.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in there most of the time here lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he probably is now more than ever, now that the national guys have started chattering about it. I think it's, he's starting to, acknowledge it maybe a little more than he had. But the reality is, Paul, and I go back to this all the time. If he didn't want to do this, he doesn't have to. He can walk away right now, and he's going to be, if not the top pick, a top 3 pick.
Right. He's going to be a pick.
Like that's where I always get on the he's load management. I'm like, guys, why? Why? Like, he doesn't have to do any of this stuff. I've never bought into that. It's always just been can he play through cramps or not? And the answer to that is clearly no.
Mm-hmm.
And so the hope, you just hope he doesn't do it anymore. But again, back to last night, the thing I loved the most about last night is they were as good as they've been defensively all season long, and he was out there almost the entire game. If they can be that defensive team with him out there, I think more often than not, Paul, he's going to score at a pretty good clip for them. And last night when he took 14 shots, okay, just think about watching that game last night. Takes 14 shots. At any point, did you ever feel like the offense was different or dysfunctional with him out there? Because I didn't. I'm not sure I did.
No, I don't think so.
I thought that was as collectively good and collectively cohesive, I guess, as they've been with him on the floor most of the time. We've all seen those games where he's out there and it's kind of like all the rest of the offense just stands back and watches him go, right? We've seen that happen. That's why that's where you get the take of, I think they might be better without him, because we've all seen it. But last night, it wasn't going down low, right? Flory Badunga couldn't get anything going offensively, and they tried that right out of the gates. It wasn't working. Houston was going to take that away. Okay, so that wasn't happening. Melvin Council didn't have close to his best offensive game. Darren Peterson didn't have close to his best offensive game. And so what happens over time? Oh, look, Trey White's on tonight. Let's get him the ball. And he scores 20 plus. Like that to me was them working through the offense more with Peterson on the floor than they have in some of the past games. It was not their best offensive game last night. If they don't have an otherworldly game from the free throw line, we're having a different conversation probably this morning. But I think it was as good as we've seen them work through some of those offensive challenges this year. And I think that's simply a sign of they're starting to find a little chemistry with Peterson on the floor. And that's what I mean. Like I'd be pretty thrilled if I was a KU fan this morning, because you could see progress offensively last night, I thought.
Right. Well, when Peterson's on the floor, I mean, that changes the way you defend.
There's going to be games, Paul, where Peterson does what he did against Oklahoma State, and he just hits a bunch of threes, and the other team's just going to stand there and be like, well, crap. But that didn't happen last night.
But him on the floor still change. I mean, even though it didn't happen,
100%. Yeah,
it changes the way you defend. It changes your game plan. It changes how do you attack that particular offense. It changes, and having him on the floor, even when he's not even 100%, really is not a bad thing, because you've got to account for him anywhere he's on the floor, because he can make a basket from anywhere on the floor when he's standing down on the offensive end. So I get it. I understand. I think the University of Kansas played that pretty well, but he's a difference maker. Well, not well, whatever. He's on the floor, and you've got to account for the guy. That's all there is to it.
And he's out there again, back to the top of the show, he's out there for 30 plus, and they have their best defensive game of the year. That has always been the concern for me.
Yeah,
let the defense raise the floor for this team.
I got you.
And then whatever Peterson gives you raises the ceiling.
Yeah, because I could say right now, we all know how good Houston is on defense, but I could say also make the point, which was a better team on defense last night, the University of Kansas or Houston? I'm going to say Kansas. That's who I'm saying.
And again, devil's advocate to that. Houston missed a bunch of threes to make their defense look better. And that, I know that has a lot to do with Kansas.
Well, thank you for that.
Of course it does. Yes, of course it does. But just remember what we dug up yesterday. By percentage, Kansas defends the three better than any team in the Big 12. Teams are only shooting about 30% from three on Kansas. The reality, though, is with those two big dudes down low, teams are taking a ton of threes against Kansas. Cincinnati is the example of an accidental buzzsaw. Teams are going to take a bunch of them. What happens when they hit a bunch of them?
Well, that's a problem.
So then, okay, offense, you better pick up the slack for us in this one, because they're shooting the lights out. There's not a lot we're going to be able to do about that. Where's the offense come? That's where Peterson, I think, completes this team.
Right.
If he's right. And they got about 2 weeks to get it figured out. Three weeks to get it figured out. And I'm excited for that. All right. We'll come back. We got a little more Sports Daily for you. Don't go away. It's all Brockton Savage on a Tuesday.